Let me tell you something straight from a heart that's seen a lot. Old age, they say, is a second childhood. But that's only true if you're lucky. For many, old age is not gentle. It can be bitter, it can be cold, it can be a long road of silent suffering. And I've learned, not just from my own journey, but from the quiet confessions of other seniors who've walked the same road, that growing old without 6 very specific things can make life downright miserable. Not difficult, not hard. Miserable. The kind that eats away at your spirit day by day. And I want to talk about those 6 things today. Not with fancy words, but with the raw honesty of someone who knows what it feels like to lie awake at night and wonder where it all went wrong. The first thing you must never lose in old age is purpose. I don't care how much money you have. If you wake up with nothing to do, no one to help, nothing to build, you will rot from the inside. I've seen strong men crumble not from disease but from aimlessness. I've seen women with bright minds sink into sadness because the world told them they were no longer needed. And let me tell you, the worst thing a person can feel is useless. You need a reason to get out of bed. Whether it's a plant to water, a neighbor to check on, a story to write, or a grandchild to teach, you must have purpose. Without it, your days blur into each other, and your soul begins to fade even while your body still breathes. Purpose is oxygen for the spirit, and in old age, it's more vital than ever. Now let me talk about the second thing, companionship. I'm not talking about romance, though that can be a beautiful blessing. I'm talking about someone to talk to, someone who knows your name, someone who listens when you speak and remembers your stories, even when you forget them yourself. Loneliness is the quiet killer of the elderly. It does not scream. It does not make headlines, but it eats away at your health. Studies have shown it increases the risk of heart disease, depression, even dementia. And it is everywhere. I've sat on benches with men who haven't spoken to their children in 10 years. I've visited homes where the only sound was the ticking of a clock and the distant hum of a television. We are social beings. Without companionship, we wither. You need friends. You need people who will sit with you even if all you do is watch the birds. Companionship is the medicine you cannot buy, but without it, old age becomes a prison. The third thing you cannot live without in your later years is health. Not perfect health. No one expects you to run marathons at 80. But basic mobility, a clear mind, and the ability to take care of your personal needs are everything. I've watched people who once commanded boardrooms struggle to button their shirts. I've helped friends who once danced with grace, now unable to lift their legs without pain. And it breaks your heart, because when your health goes, your independence often goes with it. And without independence, you start to feel like a burden. That's a terrible feeling. You begin to doubt your worth. That's why I tell every younger person, take care of your body now. What you do in your 40s and 50s is the foundation of your 80s. Eat well, walk, stretch, take your medicine. Do not be proud. Your pride won't help you when you can't stand up without assistance. Health is your ticket to dignity in old age. Lose it, and everything becomes 10 times harder. The fourth thing. Oh, this one's tough. Financial stability. Not riches, just stability. Just enough to not worry every single day about whether you can pay your bills, buy your medicines, fix the leaky roof, or eat 3 meals. When you are young, you can hustle. You can bounce back from a bad job or a lost opportunity. But in old age, the safety net gets thinner. The margin for error becomes razor thin. And nothing is more degrading than having to beg or depend on reluctant children. I've seen proud men sell their wedding rings to buy medication. I've seen women cry because they could not afford to repair their dentures. This is real. Money doesn't bring happiness, but the lack of it in old age brings humiliation. That's why saving, planning, and living within your means early on is not just wise. It is survival. Because once you're old, second chances don't come easy, and the world doesn't care much about your struggles. You must care enough about your future to prepare, or you will suffer when you are too tired to fight back. Now comes the fifth thing, respect. This one hurts more than all the rest. Because after a lifetime of working, building, caring, and sacrificing, to be treated like a nobody, that's a pain I cannot describe. Respect is the fuel that keeps your soul upright. You may not walk fast anymore. You may forget a name here or there, but your value does not diminish, and yet many old people are treated like furniture, talked over, ignored, dismissed, and it chips away at their sense of self. I've seen grandparents silenced in family gatherings, elders laughed at for forgetting small things. People forget we are not children. We are survivors. We've lived through wars, heartbreaks, and revolutions. We've buried friends, raised families, built homes from nothing. All we want is to be seen, to be heard. And if the world can't give you respect, you must demand it. You must carry yourself like someone who matters, because you do. Respect is not a luxury, it is your right. And without it, old age becomes a series of humiliations no one deserves. And finally, the sixth, faith. And I don't just mean religion, though that too can be powerful. I mean a deep belief that your life still has meaning, that you're not here by accident, that there's something greater holding it all together. When your friends start dying, when your body aches in places you didn't know existed, when the nights get longer and the visitors get fewer. You need faith. You need something to anchor you. I've seen people who had everything fall apart because they lost that belief. And I've seen others who had nothing stand tall because their faith was strong. Faith gives you peace. It helps you accept what you cannot control. It gives you a reason to smile even when the world feels dark. It reminds you that you are more than your wrinkles, more than your failing eyesight, more than your pain. You are still a part of something beautiful, something eternal. Faith is what makes suffering bearable. Without it, despair creeps in. And once that door opens, it's hard to close. So let me say it again. Purpose, companionship, health, financial stability, respect, faith. These 6 things are not luxuries. They are lifelines. Lose one, and your old age will get harder. Lose 2, and your days may grow lonely. But lose them all, and old age becomes unbearable. This is not just my truth. This is the truth of countless seniors I've met. People who whispered regrets into the silence. People who said, if only I had known. Well, now you know. And if you're lucky enough to still have time, don't waste another moment. Do what you must to build these 6 things into your life. Nurture your body. Save what you can. Speak to your neighbors. Let go of grudges. Read, pray, laugh, cry, love. Because when the years catch up to you, and they will, you'll need more than memories to keep going. You'll need something real, something solid, something that doesn't fade with age. Old age can be a blessing. It can be a time of great joy, deep reflection, and gentle peace. But only if these 6 pillars are strong beneath you. Without them, it's a long and lonely road. And believe me, no one should have to walk that road alone. Can the absence of meaningful relationships in old age silently destroy a person from the inside out? Let me tell you something from a place most people try to avoid looking into. A place called loneliness. A place I have visited far too many times in my old age. Now, I am not talking about being alone. There is a big difference. Being alone is when you enjoy a quiet afternoon with your thoughts. Loneliness, though, is when you feel invisible even in a room full of people. And let me tell you, the absence of meaningful relationships in old age can absolutely destroy a person from the inside out. Not with loud crashes, but in slow, aching silence. You see, when we are young, we are surrounded. Friends at school, colleagues at work, family buzzing around. Someone always knocking at the door, always calling. But as the years pass, the room starts to empty. Friends move away or pass on. The phone stops ringing, children grow busy, spouses die, and slowly the silence sets in. At first, you don't even notice. You convince yourself it's just a phase, a peaceful period. You water the plants, you watch the news, but then the silence becomes heavier. Days blend together. No one checks in, and the worst part is you begin to wonder if anyone would even notice if you were gone. I have seen men who once commanded offices now sit in slippers by the window for hours with no one to talk to. I have known women who gave everything to their families, now spending evenings staring at old photographs, whispering names of people who are no longer here. There is a kind of pain that does not show in medical reports. It doesn't leave bruises, but it hollows you out from the inside. That is what loneliness does. It eats your hope, piece by piece. I remember a friend of mine, Charles, a strong man, worked as a carpenter for over 40 years. He could build anything, fix anything. But after his wife passed and his children moved away, he just dimmed. Not all at once, but slowly. He stopped going to the community center, stopped attending church. When I asked why, he said, "What's the point? No one notices if I'm there or not." And there it was. That tiny sentence held all the weight in the world. No one notices. That is how it begins. That belief that you don't matter anymore. Meaningful relationships are not about having someone to sit next to. It's about being seen, being heard, being remembered. When you don't have that, you begin to doubt your own worth. And that is the first cut. Without relationships, your mind starts turning on you. You begin to second-guess your memories. You wonder if the love you gave mattered, if your laughter was ever missed. You can be surrounded by people, doctors, neighbors, store clerks, and still feel deeply alone if not one of them knows your heart. What happens then is subtle but deadly. The appetite fades, not just for food but for life. You stop cooking, you sleep odd hours, you talk less, you move less. The spark in your eyes dims. That's when the body starts following the spirit. Science has caught up to what we elders already knew in our bones. Loneliness in old age increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, cognitive decline, depression. It shortens your life. But it's not just the years it takes from you. It's the quality it robs. It turns the golden years into something gray and silent. I remember the day I truly understood this for myself. I had gone 2 weeks without speaking to anyone, not a soul, just a quick nod to the grocer and the usual polite hello to the mailman. That was it. No deep conversation, no laughter, no questions about how I was doing. I sat down in my kitchen, looked out the window, and realized I hadn't heard my name spoken in days. My name, the word that had once echoed through classrooms, offices, family dinners, and now it was just floating somewhere unused. I wept like a child that day, not because I was weak, but because I was human. But here's what I've learned since then. Loneliness is a silent thief, yes, but it doesn't have to win. Relationships are like gardens. If no one waters them, they wither. But they can also be planted again, even in old age, especially in old age. I began small. I forced myself to join a local book club. I didn't even care much for the books at first, but there were people, talking, listening. I started volunteering twice a week, helping kids read. That one changed everything. Their eyes lit up when I walked in. They called me by name. They laughed at my old jokes, and suddenly I felt seen again. What I'm saying is, yes, the absence of meaningful relationships in old age can destroy you. But the heart has a way of healing if you give it even a little light. It takes courage. Reaching out after years of silence feels like climbing a mountain. But every time someone remembers your name, every time someone listens to your story, every time someone says, "I'm glad you're here," a piece of your soul comes back to life. So to anyone out there wondering if it's too late to feel connected again, let me tell you, it is not. Call an old friend, speak to your neighbor, join that group you keep putting off, write a letter, visit someone lonelier than you. Because the truth is, the absence of relationships hurts you, but offering connection to someone else can heal both of you at the same time. In the end, we are not meant to grow old alone. We are meant to tell our stories, to pass on our wisdom, to hold hands in silence, to laugh at old memories, to be loved not for what we do, but for who we are. The world may not always come knocking on your door, but that doesn't mean you must stay behind it forever. Open it, step out, speak, listen, love. That's how you keep your soul alive, even when the years have taken much from you. That's how you fight the silence. Because the heart, even an old one, still beats stronger when someone else can hear it. If you like today's discussion, Don't forget to like the video, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to stay updated with every video we release. And yes, don't forget to share your experiences and thoughts in the comments. Every comment is special to us. Your feedback helps us improve further. We'll continue to meet you in every new video on this channel, so until next time, take care.